Imagine this, it's midnight. You've just finished dinner and suddenly you crave ice cream. Within minutes, someone on a scooter will appear at your door, smiling, bag in hand, having navigated traffic and time to serve your craving. Or think about when you're stuck in the rain, your umbrella broken, you open an app. In 5 minutes, there's a car waiting to take you home. Convenience, speed, flexibility. That's the magic of the gig economy. But here's the question, who pays the real price for this magic? Welcome back to the Personal Lens, where we explore the political through the personal. I'm your host, Jayanti, and today on the Personal Lens, we dive into the gig economy in India, the promise of freedom and the reality of exploitation. The stories behind the apps. Step outside in any Indian city today, and the signs of the gig economy are everywhere. Bikes with bright orange or red delivery bags zigzagging through traffic. Cars with Ola and Uber stickers waiting at traffic lights, riders checking their phones at the side of the road, waiting for the next ping. It has become such a normal part of urban life that we hardly pause to notice it anymore. A few years ago, this scene was rare. Today, it is impossible to miss. Convenience feels like magic. One tap on your phone and the world bends around your needs. Food, transport, shopping, even work, it all comes to you. But here's the twist. Behind every tap, there's a worker, a human being whose time, sweat, and sometimes even health fuels that magic. And the numbers back this up. Gig work isn't just some side hustle anymore, it's becoming a central pillar of our economy. But here's the paradox. While we see gig workers everywhere, we don't really see them. They are visible on the streets, yet invisible in conversations about labor rights, wages, or dignity at work. We rarely stop to ask, what's life like on the other side of the app? So, what does it mean to work in an economy where you are always present but never fully recognized? That's the question we are asking today. And to answer it, we need to go beyond the convenience apps on our phones and look at the system that powers them, the system that promises freedom but often delivers exploitation. The gig economy, promise versus reality. The gig economy was marketed as freedom, flexibility, the chance to be your own boss, and in some ways that's true. For a woman juggling childcare, freelance writing from home can mean financial independence. For a student, driving part time for Ola can mean quick cash. For someone rejected by formal labor markets, gig work can be a lifeline. But let's peel back the layers. Gig work is not regulated like traditional employment. Workers are classified as independent contractors, not employees. That means no provident fund, no health benefits, no minimum wage guarantees, no right to unionize. If a driver falls sick, he simply doesn't earn. If a food delivery rider meets with an accident, compensation is uncertain. This is what scholars call the precarity of digital labor, work without safety nets, where the risks are borne entirely by the worker while profits flow to platforms. And then comes algorithmic management. It's not your human boss who decides your schedule anymore. It's a machine. Ratings, incentives, penalties, all coded into an app. Drivers are nudged to take longer shifts with the lure of bonuses. Delivery workers are penalized if they reject too many orders. Freelancers are judged by ratings that can be ruined by one unfair client review. It looks like freedom, but it feels like control. In India, the gig economy is booming. According to Niti Aayog's 2022 report, the country had around 7.7 million gig workers in 2020-21, and this number is expected to reach 23.5 million by 2030. That's a massive chunk of our workforce. But here's the paradox. Gig work is growing fastest in a country where labor rights have historically been won after long struggles. Minimum wage laws, maternity benefits, factory safety codes, yet digital platforms bypass these protections under the guise of innovation. Let's talk about caste and class here too. Many delivery workers come from marginalized backgrounds, migrants from small towns trying to survive in cities. The gig economy has created new hierarchies. The customer at the top, the app in the middle, and the worker at the very bottom. Workers are rated not just for speed, but also for politeness, grooming, even their accent. And yet, Because their jobs are so visible everywhere on our streets, the workers' struggles are also becoming visible. In 2020, delivery workers of Swiggy and Zomato in Hyderabad protested pay cuts. In 2021, Ola and Uber drivers in Delhi demanded fair commissions. Slowly but surely, collective resistance is emerging, even in a space designed to atomize workers. This isn't just India's story. Globally, gig workers face similar conditions. In California, Uber and Lyft drivers fought against Proposition 22, a law that allowed companies to keep them classified as contractors. In the UK, the Supreme Court ruled that Uber drivers should be treated as workers with minimum wage and holiday pay. So, the big question is, how do we regulate gig work in India? Some argue for extended labor protections, minimum wage guarantees, accident insurance, pension schemes. The Code on Social Security 2020 does include gig and platform workers for certain welfare schemes, but implementation remains weak. Others argue that gig work should remain flexible, but with safety nets built in. Imagine if every ride had a small surcharge that went into a social security fund for drivers. Imagine if delivery platforms contributed to accident insurance for their riders. Because here's the truth, the gig economy isn't going away, it's the future of work. But the real question is, will it be the future of dignity or a future of exploitation? As we wrap up, let's return to the ice cream at midnight, the ride in the rain, the parcel that arrives within the hour. Every act of convenience hides a story of labor, often invisible, often undervalued. The gig economy asks us to believe that freedom is just an app away, but for millions of workers, freedom means something very different. The freedom from hunger, the freedom to rest when sick, the freedom to plan a future without fear. So the next time you order food or book a ride, maybe take a moment, look your gig worker in the eye, tip if you can, and most importantly, remember that behind the sleek technology lies a very human struggle. The gig economy sells us a dream, the dream of freedom, flexibility, and choice. But when we look closely, that dream comes at a cost. The erosion of security, stability, and dignity at work. The paradox is clear. What feels like freedom for the consumer often translates into exploitation for the worker. The food at your doorstep, the ride at midnight, the quick service at the tap of a button, each of these conveniences is made possible by someone else's invisible labor, often carried out under grueling conditions with little protection. So, as India's workforce is reshaped by this new system, we must ask ourselves, what kind of future are we building? One where technology empowers both consumers and workers, or one where innovation hides inequality under the glow of convenience? The answer doesn't just lie in laws and policies, it also lies in us. Every time we book, order, or rate, we are part of this system, and small actions can ripple outward. Tipping fairly, giving thoughtful ratings, supporting collective demands for better protections, even choosing to pause and acknowledge the human being behind the app. Because ultimately, the gig economy is not just about algorithms and platforms, it's about people. People whose time, health, and dignity do matter. And here's the question I'll leave you with, when you think of the gig economy, will you only remember the convenience or will you also remember the cost and your part to make it fairer? Thank you so much for listening to The Personal Lens. And before we sign off, I want to leave you with this question. Is the gig economy really freedom, or is it just a new name for exploitation? Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. Share your thoughts and reflections at the email provided in the description. Until next time, keep looking through the personal lens.